There was a ghost trapped inside my throat, begging me to forget my voice so my country remembers her rage. Forgive me. I know it is not philosophical to begin a poem with blood, so here. My name is Pacella, Latin for peace. But these days, peace and I have appeared as oxymorons in sentences. I keep bleeding into the news where women are spilled on the ground like dry gin every day. My mother turns my ears into a shrine she runs to with her prayers. I better not find you breathless on the news translate into I love you. Rage is how she discloses her affection. Therefore, I am introverted by circumstance. I do not want to trip on blood. We leave home in search of something and return as victims of submersion. Water has always been a generous shoulder, but we are unwilling to drown my sister. The devil did not need water to drown my sister. All he needed were the eyes of a man to drown my sister. The devil opened a pot, took a plate, and before dishing this man into her sight, he sprinkled salt and the holy book. What better way to win a soul than to pose as a man of God? One prominent difference between God and the devil is this. When the great flood was over, God promised it to be the last with the lips of a rainbow, but after flooding my sister's eyes, the devil promised more rain, more rain, more rain, and so the man came. Over the years, his coming sprung forth children of his blood and bone, girls blooming into daylights like the purple hibiscus, their eyes, a reflection of the reason their mother first drowned their eyes, the reason their mother would drown a second time when she realized that her man was a virus, how his girls forgot to shave for months because their classmates had prescribed unattractiveness as the cure for their father's continual attempt at spreading their thighs while his woman was out of breath now. You see why this rage is illiterate to etiquette. There is nothing demure about rolling trauma poems out my tongue. My voice is a diary made public. It will always thirst for audience. The world is hemorrhaging our women into lacerations, into tombs, with no possibility of an Easter parole. I am tired of boxing all this rage passed down like a genetic disorder. In the arms of 1925, my great-grandmother became a taped arson case. Reports say she set her husband ablaze for turning his daughter into her co-wife. Look how we have progressed from dying in the arms of the ones we love to dying by the arms of the ones we love. Look how death is transmutating our bodies without consent. A lady walks into an abattoir and is mistaken for beef. A lady walks into an altar and is mistaken for sheep. In an unnamed school, a student's ties are mistaken for pocket. Her boyfriend tucks himself inside of her without consent now. The cracks on the ground are consequences of dead girls screaming their way through caskets now. The earth is quaking in a certain kind of revolution. We are the rebellion of wanting souls. We are rage and we are hope. We come from generations of women whose voices have been handled like old porcelain. That curse ends with all of us. The madman says, God is dead. God remains dead. And we have killed him. I'd argue that our evilness contradicts grace. We were never holy enough to accommodate any deity in our skins. Look around you. What divinity has ever been born out of cannibalism? When the last government claimed the toll gates buttering to be magic, how bullets were hurled wildly at bodies without an order. Had we whitewashed our black tweets of NSAS into amens, sprinkled prayers of our fathers for the boys who never grew into one. In this church, the president anoints himself a preacher who has come to deliver his people, so the congregation spirals into mass gravesites. Grief is the only substance we never seem to run out of. Always broken into communion for the community is heavy with loss. Last Sunday, the preacher lifted bread towards the heavens and said, "Take this, all of you, and eat of it." This must be a version of transubstantiation, where the limbs of children are forced to impersonate lambs, laid down at the altar of politics for the well-being of the wicked. Isn't this how girls were ripped out from their schools in November? Isn't this how we have mastered? Isn't this how we have mastered? Isn't this How we have mastered forgetfulness like music. I could have sworn I saw the face of God in the girl who leapt through the bread in the preacher's hand screaming, "Save us." But our misfortune is a genius in multitasking. Always quick to numb our pains, always quick to knit our eyes into blindfold. So when the preacher says, "Take this, all of you, and drink from it, for this is the blood of the new genocide, I mean covenant giving up for the forgiveness of sins," we tear open our eyes to drink a liquefied God, chew and swallow the pieces of a waging apocalypse and call it the receiving of peace. Tell me, what divinity has ever been born out of cannibalism? If we continue to eat our gods, what deity would be left to intercede for the people of Kogi, Borno, Benue these days? Our guilt is so large it spills out of our mouths as prayers, running towards the heavens, but the angels deny them entry, saying nothing can resurrect what is left of the Jesus in our bellies. I am learning to be like them, to cut open my chest and pluck faith out of it, to seed my doubt until they germinate trees so woke they'd rise with the wind in protest, singing, God is dead. God remains dead. And we are all dead bodies at the mercy of this poem. Thank you.